Hello YouTube, this is Ice Wolfie here, and right now, so fucking late at night, and I really don't want to read a story, but fuck it, it's almost Halloween, I might as well read creepypasta, and during Halloween day, I might do a special by reading two creepypastas, maybe Cupcakes or Rainbow Factory, whatever you suggest, I don't care, put a suggestion in the comments, and I'll try my best to get to it. We're actually reading Sweet Apple Massacre, and I did read it, but it was the one who actually wrote the story was pretty crappy. They didn't have the second part, which sucked. So now I'm gonna read the whole thing. So, yeah. Alright. Big Macintosh surveyed the mainly apple trees that made up Sweet Apple Acre. It was nearly apple bug season, once again, and it looked as though they would be having a bumper harvest this year. He nodded, satisfied. His sister, Applejack, walked up beside him. Whoo, boy, howdy. I sure glad you ain't injured this time, Big Macintosh, she said. Why, there's why, there's even more apples on them trees than last year. Yup, Big Macintosh replied in a characteristic manner. Them a lot of apples. Applejack was silent for a moment, enjoying the feeling of the side breeze against her blonde mane. Phil. Say, I don't suppose you've seen Apple Bloom anywhere, have you? I've been looking around for her all day, and she ain't nowhere to be found. Big Macintosh shook his head. Sorry, sis. Can't say I have. Darn. That silly filly's probably gone off somewhere with her friends. I just hope she ain't getting herself into any, mischief, or else there'll be a hay to pay. Fucking Applejack. Don't you go worrying yourself, Applejack, he replied. I'm sure she's perfectly fine. But anyway, I need to go back to the barn. I gotta go and press some apples for some of them home brewed apple cider. I hoof picked apples earlier, especially all nice and plump and ripe, and they ain't gonna press themselves. Applejack laughed. You sure you do? Oh fuck! You sure do love cider, don't you? Just make sure Applemoon don't get her hooves on it again. We'll know what happened last time. So it is beer, okay. No wonder there's like no little kids drinking that shit. Oh yeah, Applemoon was there, but she was selling them though. Okay. Big Macintosh chuckled along with his sister. Yep. The large red pony trotted back into to the barn and gently closed the door. He opened the trap door with his mouth and went down the steps into the old disused, I don't know, apple cellar. Usually it was just filled with junk, scrap metal, old worn out flaws, old rope, and various other bits. And I sound like a freaking I sound like a fucking cowboy right now. Other bits and bobs that had outlived their usefulness. Okay, sorry. It's actually pretty hard to read this shit with such a annoying screen. Big Macintosh often came down here when he wanted to get away from the world to withdraw for a little while for some peace and quiet. Okay. Today was different, however. The old rope, at least, had found a new use because in the cellar's space were Apple Bloom and her fellow Q Mark Crusaders. Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo. Bound and gagged, propped up against the wall. I feel sad. Three pairs of scared, round eyes looked up at Big Macintosh as he approached. "Now then, y'all three fillies," he said, as placid as ever. Okay. "Y'all need to learn a lesson. You need to learn not to mess around with Big Macintosh. All I want is peace and quiet," he said, looking directly at Apple Bloom. The little red-haired filly cowered under his gaze. "All I want is a little quiet. Without you cute maquerettes running around the place, making with noise, and when I'm finished with y'all, there gonna be no noise from you ever again." You're horrible. This is why I don't like Big Mac. Oh, that's not the reason, but I just don't like him. As Big Macintosh approached Scootaloo, flapped her wings, struggling to get out of the ground, Big Macintosh laughed and grabbed one of her wings. He twisted at first slow, watching the pain visibly grow in her eyes, and then tore hard, smiling slightly when he heard the snap and the muffled whimper that came from Scootaloo. He then threw her to the ground. Fuck. You're messed up. She's my favorite. She's my favorite. Alright. "Your wings are useless, you silly filly," he said pleasantly. Okay. He then went to a toolbox and took out a rusty knife with a jagged blade and dropped it in front of the three fillies. "I'm gonna take off those gags now," he said. "The first one, the first one of you to scream gets their tongue cut off." I already know who. It's horrible. He took off Sweetie Belle's gag first. She looked at him with terror, but managed to stay quiet. Next was Scootaloo. She let out a strangled whine and was breathing heavily. Still, Homitus, fuck! It's hard to see. Alright. I'm just gonna say that word. Still in pain from her broken wing, but managed to resist the temptation. Finally, he removed the gag from her sister, Apple Bloom. She stared at him with her large round eyes filled with fear and incomprehension. This was Big Macintosh after all, her big brother and the Jerdis of Soul, okay? Wasn't he? Surely this was just a horrible joke. But he had seen what he had done to Scootaloo's wing, and it was definitely no joke. She took a deep breath. Apple... Big Macintosh shoved his hoof in Apple Bloom's mouth. Silenced her scream. He sighed and shook his head. If you're looking at my screen, you can barely see the words. Like, seriously, it's kind of hard to see. "I told you not to scream, Apple Bloom. You should have listened to your big brother. I'll scream, and Applejack will hear me, and Applejack said, flattering. "You know, I kind of hope you do. After all, I still ain't forgiving Applejack for that injury she gave me last Applebook season. If you want Applejack to join y'all here to scream it way, I, for one, was to welcome her company, but now to business." Fucking asshole. I fucking hate this story so much. Big Macintosh picked up the knife and loomed over the cowering Apple Bloom. He pinned her down with a powerful hoof and stuck the knife into Apple Bloom's mouth. Sweet Belle vomited at the sight. Oh yeah, I remember what happened to her. It was horrible. The thick yellow chunks and acidic smelling liquids splattering heavily on the floor. The Scootaloo managed not to be sick, but rather gasped and sobbed and choked with pain. Oh, that's a chick. What the fuck? Big Macintosh forced open Apple Bloom's mouth and with some effort cut out her tongue. Ow. Apple Bloom tried to scream, but her mouth was too full of blood. So it was more a muted gurgle. Oh, hold on. After a short while, she collapsed, tears streaming from her eyes. Okay, falling unconscious from the shock and the pain. Big Macintosh then took the tongue and rolled it in the puddle of putrid vomit on the floor. He smiled at Scootaloo. Oh, I thought it was Sweetie Belle. Fuck. Like, why Scootaloo? She's like the best one. You hungry? Scootaloo shook her head vigorously and cast him a definite glare. If Rainbow Dash was here, she would kick the crap out of you, you maniac. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'm not thinking of a Rainbow Dash fan, but she just acts tough. Alright. Big Macintosh shrugged. Well, she ain't. And anyway, oh my god, this fucking whatever. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Rainbow Dash ain't as tough as she likes to make out. I knew it. He shoved the vomit-covered tongue into Scootaloo's mouth and used his hoof to clamp her mouth shut. Don't you go try and spit it out now, he said calmly, with a little laugh, and the filly struggled and squirmed. Didn't your mother tell you how important it is to chew your food? Oh my god, you fucking ass. I sort of want to like chop off his dick and just shove it up his ass. Asshole. Alright. Scootaloo closed her eyes and flapped her one good wing desperately, eventually swallowing Apple Bloom's tongue. Oh god, I would throw up if it actually happened. Big Macintosh still holding the what? God damn. Ripping Scootaloo down, oh no, with his strong hooves. Then mounted the orange filly and slid his penis into her tight virgin pussy. Oh, you fucking ass. It's not an ass. First he brings to his wing, then just feeds Apple Bloom's tongue to her, and then rapes. That's just horrible. Oh yeah, there's something else that happened too. Raping her for several minutes while Sweetie Belle watched, trembling with Revolution Apple Bloom was still out cold, blood pouring from her torn up mouth. The thing is, I don't know. Fuck. Whatever. Cutie Crusaders rape victims, yes. Yes. Big Macintosh said with tender mockery as he fucked Scootaloo, followed by a gentle chuckle. Guess y'all found a purpose in life now. She's an ass. Your special talent is getting raped. Yep. God, he's such a dick. He's such a dick. Oh, God. Eventually, he withdrew from Scootaloo and gripped her head tightly and repeatedly punching her hard with a hoof in the face, causing her nose to shatter and spurt with blood. He scooped up some of the blood and some of Sweetie Belle's vomit with his tongue and held it in his mouth so that it mixes with his saliva. Saliva. I'm so tired. And then brought his mouth close